What if you could actually rewire your sales team's DNA? I'm not talking about just hitting one quarterly target. I mean, what if you could build a culture of real, lasting excellence? Today, we're going to dig into that by profiling an expert who does exactly that, Graham Roberts-Phelps. So let's get right into it. Does this sound familiar at all? You've got a fantastic product. You've hired some really smart people, but there's this gap, right? A gap between what you know they can do and what they're actually delivering. You're fighting to get those consistent, measurable results that you feel are just out of reach. While the secret to closing that gap, more often than not, is right here. It's about making a shift, moving away from just trying to make a sale, and instead building a truly consultative, customer-focused culture. It's about turning your salespeople into trusted advisors that clients can't live without. But okay, how do you actually build something like that? It's a huge task, and that's where our expert guide for this explainer comes in. See, Graham Roberts-Phelps isn't just a trainer. He's a specialist in architecting the kind of sales engines that fuel real, sustainable growth. So, let's look at the numbers. All right, let's run through the core metrics, and we're going to do this fast. First up, over 25 years of international experience. Think about that. That's a quarter century on the front lines, navigating every kind of market you can imagine, seeing how sales has evolved firsthand. Now let this next number really sink in for a second. 30,000. He has personally coached and trained over 30,000 professionals. Can you just imagine the patterns, the problems, and the breakthroughs you'd see after that many one-on-one interactions? It's an incredible data set. And that experience, it's not just locked into one market. We're talking more than 20 countries. So this isn't some local expert with a few tricks. This is a globally tested authority on what makes sales teams tick. So what's the secret sauce? What's the philosophy that powers those numbers? It's this right here. The magic isn't just in the big, high-level strategy, and it's not in a few simple sales hacks either. It's about connecting the two. It's about taking the vision from the boardroom and making it a practical, usable reality for the person actually on the sales call. That's how you build genuine confidence and consistency. So, we've covered the who and the why. Now, let's dive into the how. What is the actual blueprint he uses to drive this kind of massive transformation? This shows you so clearly that it's not about fixing just one little broken part. It's about upgrading the entire system. You've got your core skills, right? Things like consultative selling and negotiation. But then, and this is so crucial, you have the leadership part. Teaching managers how to be great coaches. It's a complete 360-degree ecosystem. And that ecosystem is built using this really clear three-step process. It all starts with the design, the architecture, creating a custom program that fits like a glove. Then comes the delivery, making sure the training is engaging and interactive. And finally, and maybe most importantly, it's about driving results, giving the team real tools they can go out and use the very next day. A great plan is one thing, of course, but a blueprint is only as good as the building it creates. So where's the proof? What do the results of this journey actually look like? This piece of feedback gets right to the heart of why so much corporate training just doesn't work, and why this does. The key phrase here, focused on my job role. It's not abstract theory, it's about immediate, tangible relevance to what they do every single day. And that focus, it comes from real-world, in-the-trenches experience. This isn't someone who just read about sales in a book. He's been there, leading teams, building strategy inside some major global players like Capgemini, Pearson, and Thomson Reuters. He's seen it all from the inside. Let's just put these roles into perspective for a minute. Developing over 500 staff at Thomson Reuters, that's not just running a few workshops. That's changing the operational DNA of a massive multinational sales division. And building a 60-person team from scratch at Pearson, that's creating a culture, not just managing one that's already there. So what does a client list like this tell you? I mean, really, what does a luxury fashion brand like Ralph Lauren have in common with an industrial giant like Veolia or a drink innovator like Fevertree? It proves that these core principles work no matter the industry. A strong sales methodology is universal. And there it is again. See that theme? Concrete tools. This is the whole ballgame. It's about the shift from just abstract motivation to giving people tangible, applicable skills. It's about giving your team a better toolkit, not just a pep talk. Okay, so we've looked at the profile, we've broken down the process, and we've seen the proof. Which brings us to the most important question of all. What does all this mean for you? For unlocking that potential that you know is just sitting there, waiting, in your own team. And this, right here, this is the end game. This is the difference between knowing the right thing to you and that right thing becoming second nature. The real goal is to get past theory and get to a place where excellence is just how things get done around here. It's automatic. So I'm going to leave you with this one question to really think about. Forget the theory for a minute. If your team didn't just learn about excellence, but they actually lived it in every call, every email, every meeting, what would truly fundamentally change for your business?